Hey everyone. You know, I was watching recently Zaranyzerik's HD rants that he's been doing lately. And he's been talking about a lot in recent videos about the whole format thing of Blu-ray and DVD and stuff like that. And you know, I have to agree with the Z-Man here. I mean, Blu-ray came out 3 years ago, going on 4 now. And we all know that when a new format comes out, after a few years, the player that the format is made for, or the format disc itself or whatever, goes down in price. I mean, let's go back 30 years ago, about 25, 30 years ago, when the VHS players were coming out. I mean, for years, people would have to wait months, if not years, for the movie they saw in the theaters to premiere on television. So, whoever came up with the idea for VHS players decided, you know, why not take the film that people watch and let's transfer it in some way to a cassette tape? Because they had already done the music with cassette tapes, and they had done it with albums and all that. So they figured, why not try that with bigger cassettes, about this size? So, in the end, the VHS players were born, and the VHS tapes were born. Now, what does that mean? Well, it typically means, for those back then, 25, 30 years ago, that back then, the VHS players and the tapes were expensive. I mean, some of you complain about the fact that the Blu-ray discs are expensive. Well, think back then. VHS was sort of the Blu-ray of the past. And that's no lie. And then when the VCRs came out, they really started to go up in price, because now you had the ability to record your own shows. And the tapes that they came out, nowadays a pack would run for about $8.99. Back then you're looking at $20 for a 4-pack of 6-hour tapes. So basically you shouldn't be complaining, because this is just typical of what's happening. It's basically evolution, if you will. And as time went on, we all noticed that VHS players and VCR recorders were all going down in price. The movies and shows that came out on VHS tape were going down in price. The tapes that we recorded the shows and movies with were going down in price. And then finally, when DVD players and DVDs came out, about 10 years ago, I guess from what people are saying, 10, 12 years ago, all the VHS stuff and VCR stuff really started to go down. Why? Because DVDs were dominating the market. DVD players were dominating the market. And then later on, a few years later, DVD recorders were dominating the market. And DVD plus R recordable disc, or minus R recordable disc, were dominating the market. And yes, those too were expensive. But as we have noticed as years have gone by, DVD players have gone down in price. Heck, you can get a typical DVD player now for $20. That's in some places, if not $40. I mean, the most expensive sometimes could be up to $50 for some people. I mean, you complain at the fact that a Blu-ray disc is $30. You could get a DVD player for about $30 now. And the recorders, they're going down in price. I mean, my recorder that I got for my birthday, the Sony one, $128, basically $130. When it first came out, maybe 2-3 years ago, when Sony first brought those out along with other companies, they were like $200, $300. You think I was going to pay that? Hell no. And the recorders have been around since about 2003. And my first one that I paid for, the Apex, I paid maybe about $129. And these were the cheap brands. And then the ILO that recently burned out on me, or died out on me, I had for 4 years. I paid $100. Barely, just about $100 for that. And that was about a year or two after they came out. What I'm basically saying is the same thing that Zaranyzerak is saying. You shouldn't be complaining. You shouldn't be bitching and moaning over the fact that the Blu-ray disc and Blu-ray players are expensive. Heck, the Blockbuster right here in Patterson, California. The Blockbuster right here in Patterson, California. I mean, probably every other Blockbuster in the country. You take a look in there, and you take a look around, and there's a Samsung or maybe whatever kind of Blu-ray player on sale for $199. Now, you telling me that's expensive? No, that's cheap. That's cheap compared to when they first came out. Now, true, Blu-ray recorders are expensive because the discs are expensive, but give that time, and those things are going to go down in price. Heck, you take a look at the combos of DVD recorders and VCR recorders. Those combo things, they're $150-something now. That's cheap compared to when they first came out. What I'm saying, and again, what Zaranyzerak is saying is, you know, it's patience. You've got to be patient. Think about it. When Laserdiscs came out, they were expensive. Nowadays, heck, if Laserdiscs were still going on, and they probably are, those big Laserdiscs would be cheap compared to what you pay for, compared to some things you pay for now. I mean, take a look at it this way. With a DVD recorder like the one I have, or even a Blu-ray recorder, depending on which ones you want, depending on which ones you want, depending on the disc as well, you can record up to 14 hours on one disc of movies, television, or whatever. And that's 14 hours of basically what is considered $6 to $12 worth of entertainment for 2 hours in theaters. Excuse me again. My dog likes to mess with the fence here. I don't know why. But anyway, like I'm saying, for $6.50 up to $12.50 for 14 hours on one disc, depending on what kind of recorder you have, because now because of the fact that they have gone down in price, you can have hours of entertainment. I mean, heck, for $20 you can get, for $25, at $20 at least, you can get a 25 pack of DVD plus R recordable disc, or minus R recordable disc. And for $25, depending, like I said, on the recorders you have, Blu-ray or DVD, you could have hours and hours of entertainment. Think about that. Think about it. On one disc. One disc. Excuse me for a second. Okay. Still got about 2-3 minutes. But on one disc, you can have that much hours for that much. And for about $16, you can do the same with a 10-pack. Look, what I'm saying, look, basically the thing is, you shouldn't complain at the fact that Blu-ray discs are expensive. You shouldn't complain about the fact that Blu-ray recordable discs are expensive, or Blu-ray players or Blu-ray recorders are expensive, because in time, they too are going to go down. Like I said, you go to the Blockbuster in your town, like the one here in Patterson, and I guarantee you, you will find a Blu-ray player, either it's a Samsung, a Philips, an RCA, and you will find them for just around $200, if not less. And that's a guaranteed promise, right there. If not a promise, a fact, because I've seen it with my own eyes. And they're probably cheaper elsewhere. So basically, you just gotta be patient, because in time, the recorders of Blu-rays, the players of Blu-ray, the Blu-ray discs themselves are going to go down in price. And basically, what makes Blu-ray better than what the HD DVD was because HD DVD was just basically for HD TV. That's it. True, they allowed you sometimes to change the formats, but it was basically for HD TV. Blu-ray is for everything else, and it makes it clearer, sharper, just as good looking as what you would see on an HD TV. And that's all I have to say. Zaranyzerak, if you want to comment on this, be my guest. If any of you want to comment on it, be my guest. So until next time, I'm Brian saying God bless. Take care.